So let's get started. Let those who come late miss the most important part of their life. So let's welcome Associate Professor Dr. Shaheen Mansouri.
Thank you.
He is the Dean of the School of Business.
Thank you, Dr. Janaka, and very good afternoon. I know the most torturing part of any conference, any curriculum, and any event is after lunch. Just told Dr. Janaka, please don't do it again because I also sleepy, forget about the audience. But don't worry, we go for some activity today. We don't want to, I'm not just going to talk, I'm just going to share with you some of the, in fact, points and relevant area that you have to cover, but the rest will be more activity. So let's start the journey of the PhD. But before we start, let me turn it on. Okay. So let me just say Happy Women's Day to all the ladies in this room, and thank you for all the sacrifice that you have done. Either you are a mother, or you are a wife, or you are a sister, you have done your best in our life, and we guys always owe you. Doesn't matter where what your position in our life, we really appreciate all of your efforts. So then let's go to start our journey for PhD. In these 2-3 days, you already hear a lot, listen a lot. The people said PhD is a journey. But do you think it's so? Do you think the PhD is a journey? How many of you really believe the PhD is a journey? Dr. Janaka, because he already went through this journey. Dr. Hossein, any of you over there? Dr. Reza is smiling. Yes, of course. Mr. Kamal is halfway through. Who else? Okay, you think it's a journey. Which part of this PhD that you have and you consider it as a journey is similar to a journey, to a trip? Which part of it? Have you ever thought about it? Why do these people say the PhD is a journey? The PhD is a journey. So, how it work? Why we call it the PhD is a journey? What's the reason? So, let's go for a dream holiday. I want all of you to take a piece of paper and design a dream holiday that you wish to go. Take a piece of paper, don't worry. Don't need to save environment now. You can take a piece of paper. If you don't have, you just go around and take a piece of paper. All of you, I need you to take a piece of paper. Don't look at me. Take a piece of paper. Piece of paper. And what suppose you should do to prepare a plan for your dream holiday? Piece of paper. Where is your paper? Don't look at me. Take a piece of paper. If you want to sleep here, go back home and sleep peacefully. Here my voice will annoy you. But when you are here, take a piece of paper and try to plan for your dream holiday. And when you plan for your dream holiday, answer these questions. Where do you want to go? Which place? Where would be your destination? Oh, the things become difficult, am I right? We said PhD is a journey. So let's see. How similar is a PhD? Planning for a PhD is the same as your dream or dream travel. So I need you to answer this question. Where do you want to go? Number 2, why do you want to go for that particular place? Number 3, with who? You want to go with your wife, you want to go with your girlfriend, boyfriend, a spouse, friends. Then what do you want to do? If you want to go, let's say, okay, I want to go for Langkawi. I want to go to Penang. what do I want to do over there? I want to go for a scuba diving, or I want to go, for example, to take a delicious food over there. And how do you want to go there? Do you want to go with your own passenger car, your own personal car? Or you want to go with a flight, with the bus? Or maybe some of you want to be adventurous and want to go, let's say, from here to another city through jungle. Want to go for jungle trekking? It's up to you. I to plan for your dream holiday. And I will pick one or two of you randomly to go there and write it on the board. It can be any lucky person. Doesn't matter whether you are PhD, whether you are not PhD, whether you are professor, whether you are not professor, can be in a team. So take your time. I will give you a few times, few minutes. Do you want to go and share with us? Dream holiday. Michelle? Where, why, with who, what, and how. Then I will show you how. Take a few minutes. You can discuss with your friends. Don't think much. Some of you at your talk think a lot. You are the same group that after 2 or 3 years still don't have topic. What do you want to do? The question is, why should I write? What should I write for what? You have to write, what do you plan to do over there? I want to go for a dream holiday and sleep over there for 5 days. It can be a dream holiday. You want to design, you want to plan for your dream holiday. So time is going to be up in 40 seconds. Your dream holiday. Thirty more seconds. Or doing your PhD also, you don't have your whole life. Time is limited. So who wants to go and share before I pick randomly from the audience? Don't worry, Dr. Raza, I will not pick you. Okay. Yeah, how long you want to stay, it can be another one. But we already give you the offer letter, minimum 3 years, maximum 5 years. So we already fix it for you. Share? Miss Vicky? Here we go. No worries, it's just sharing your dream holiday. We will not follow you to your dream holiday. So let's see, Miss Vicky wants to go where? Okay, she wants to go to Disneyland. Which Disneyland? Orlando. Okay, the original Disneyland. Okay. Why do you want to go there? To be with family? Second honeymoon? With who? With family? Okay, that's good. What you want to do over there? Of course, you want to try all of the gadget facilities that they have, all sorts of adventures. And how do you want to go there? You will go by flight. She said, of course by flight. Why not by cruise? We will ask our president to give you 5 months bonus and you can go with cruise, plus 2 months, for example, holiday. Who said cannot? Recreation, have a quality life, anything can be. Why? No, it's different. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Vicky. Then let me show you later what's the difference between why and what and how. These are a different area that we have to consider. Thank you so much. So, as we said, we always talk about PhD is a journey. Now we want to know, is it really a journey? Is it really a trip? And if it's a trip, what are the similarities? So the first thing I ask you to do is, where do you wish to go? I ask you about a destination. In PhD, you have a topic, area of research. You want to do it in HR, in marketing, whatsoever, accounting, finance, biotech, engineering. This is the area that you want to focus, and it will be your destination. The people for future, for any time that you want to work as a doctor, will label you with that destination that you have chosen during your PhD. If you are in construction engineer, everyone address you as a construction engineer. Everyone consider me as a marketer, though my degree is industrial engineering. Nobody consider me as an engineer in this university. Whatsoever I said, they said you are a marketer. You know how to talk well. You don't know how to deal with figures. Why? Because I went to the marketing destination. What else? You are talking about why. Why do you wish to go to this destination? You are talking about purpose of the study, the purpose of your research. You have to be very clear what is the purpose of the research that you want to do. Do you plan to do it for your PhD? Do you plan to do it for publication, or you want to do it for consumption? Research is research. But when you are talking about the purpose of research, you may have this. Still, we are doing research. Dr. Janaka, Dr. Hossain, Dr. Reza, all of your professors are already doing your research, but not for PhD. We are doing either for publication or mission. So when we want to go for that particular area, our aim will be different. Our scope, as Professor Zainal said, when you are talking about case study, you are talking about 1 or 2 companies. As a consultant, maybe I just want to know how the Parkson or any other company can use mobile technology to enhance their sales. It is very good topic for a consultancy job, not for a PhD. Why? Because I just want to go for one company. Maybe they already hire me. Maybe they are already going to pay me to do that job for them. But same thing and declare it as a PhD? No. See why? What's the reason that I say no now? Then you are talking about with who? You are talking about your target audience, your reader, who are going to be a reader of your report. In industry, you have to write in their lingo. In education, when you are doing your PhD, your target audience is me, is your supervisor, is your examiner. Whether you like it or not, you should talk in our lingo. We are talking about theory. We are talking about research gap. We are talking about conceptual framework. We are talking about validity, reliability, content validity, content reliability. We are talking about methodology. So you like it or you don't like it, you write for a reader, your target audience, your supervisor. Whether you like your supervisor or you hate your supervisor, that person is your supervisor. And you cannot divorce easily for the next 3 years. The divorce from the supervisor is more costly compared to the time that you want to divorce from your spouse, I promise you. Because if you divorce from your supervisor and you want to change your supervisor, somehow you have to start from the scratch. You have to start from zero ground. The new supervisor doesn't like whatsoever you have done. Just God bless you the time that Dr. Hossein and I, we have a personal issue, and when I leave, you want to go to Dr. Hossein. Or when Dr. Hossein leaves the university, you want to come to me. Or for any reason, you want to switch from Dr. Hossein to me. Then it's a time that I revenge back. It all happened. I'm not talking about the personal or individual. I use myself as Dr. Hossein because we are very close friends. So you have to consider who is your reader or who are your target audience. And then we are talking about what do you plan to do. You are talking about your achievement, your objective. Whether you want to explore something, whether you want to invent something, whether you want to confirm some theory, then of course if you go to the next level, how do you want to do it? If you want to go for exploratory type of research, for sure you have to go for qualitative approach. If you want to go for testing the theory, reconfirming the theory, adding something to the existing theory, most probably you can go for quantitative approach. So from here, that what do you want to achieve, or what would be your research objective, you can decide which vehicle you have to take. And of course, we are talking about how do you plan to go. Of course, Miss Vicky wants to go to Orlando. For sure, she cannot go with car. She cannot go with the train. She can go maybe with cruise. Otherwise, she has lots of time, lots of money. If you are funded by your government and you have $1 million ringgit, maybe you want to drag your study for 5-6 years. Or you want to go for a very, very costly methodology. But if you don't have fund, you have self-funded, and you want to finish it as soon as possible, then you have to make a decision. Which one is the right approach I have to choose? I, as a supervisor, can just share with you options. Always remember, supervisor is not a driver. Supervisor is a GPS. If you want to speed, in front of the speed camera, you will receive summon. I will not receive summon. As far as I now say, if you got a rejection during your arrival, nobody come and blame me. If you don't have updated GPS, and one road already blocked for any reason, and your GPS brought you to that blocked road, this is your bad luck. So, one of your responsibility is, you should keep on updating your supervisor. As a driver, this is my responsibility to either use online map like Waze, or I have to update my GPS map time to time. Am I right? This is your responsibility. If you find a new topic, discuss with your supervisor, and your supervisor really doesn't know about it, this is your responsibility to summarize 500 pages of book to 10 pages and pass it to him or her and read. Otherwise, you are not on the same page. You are talking about apple, I reply of orange. So remember, how do you want to go? You are talking about your methodology. And you can see, sometimes you go to your supervisor and say, this is my topic, and I want to use this methodology. And your supervisor said it's not possible. Same as you want to go to the US and you want to take a train or you want to drive. But if you don't want to listen, go ahead. I will not stop you. I told you, I'm your GPS. I will not take over the wheel and drive. My responsibility is not to go and check your English. My responsibility is not to give you word by word comment. You come to me, I will give you my time as long as you want. But for the first time. If second time you come back and did nothing, with the same level of work you come back to me, the second time I just give you 5 minutes. And if it happens for the third time, I simply say, sorry, I don't have time. Why? Because we also are busy. We also have other agenda to do. We also have administration job, teaching responsibility, go for this meeting. When you want to go and meet your supervisor for 1 hour, you have to prepare yourself for 100 hours. You have to go there for that 100 hours that you learn. You have to share with your supervisor maximum in 1 hour. So please don't go to your supervisor and look at him and wait for him to give you something. It won't happen. If you have such a supervisor, really, you have to bring for him after your graduation a gold bar. Not during your study, it will consider as a bribe. After your graduation, you have to give him a gold bar because he really went extra mile for you. So remember that. Now, let's just go for a very quick definition of research. I don't like usually to share the definitions, but I just want to give you the idea. When we are talking about the research, what does it mean of research? Research simply is a process. That's why sometimes you will reach to the point after a few years as a university lecturer, as a university professor, your colleague will call you a printer. You just keep on publishing. It's not a magic. It's just one thing. You learn a process. A PhD is a process. I can share you someday that all of my master's mark, my MBA mark is B+. All of my marks are B+. I'm not a very genius guy. I'm not a genius guy at all. I'm a very normal IQ. I think if I go for IQ competition with any of you, I will lose. So if you think I'm not smart enough to do PhD, you are wrong. PhD is a process. And you just have to learn the process of determining, of understanding the problem. And when you find the problem, try to accumulate knowledge. Come with the data that you need. Start analyzing, synthesizing, and then come out with the information and insight and share with other people. Research is as easy as research is easier than making cake. Research is easier than making a meal for your family. If you only know the process. Baking is not that difficult. As long as you know what is the process, what sort of tool you have to take, how eggs, or if it's vegetarian, or how you have to put, for example, something to replace it, how many scoop of sugar, how long you have to stir it, how you have to prepare your oven done. That's why if you watch YouTube, after 2 times, you can bake a cake better than anyone on the earth. So, should you really be a chef to make a cake? No. You just have to know a process. And you are willing to learn the process if you really come to all the curriculum. If you really go through all of the sharings that we have. Each presentation, good or bad, you can learn. You can learn from the bad presenter much more than that you can learn from a good presenter. It's up to you how you want to look at the whole situation. So, you want to learn our curriculum, please attend the workshop that we are going to provide. Later on, we plan to have, for example, some session online. So please do it. Why? Because you need to learn a process. So, majority of you have this question. What do you think? Do you think your topic is good enough for PhD or not? Some people, some of your face shows you are very confident that your topic is up to PhD. I can see some of you have a very high level of confidence. Do you want me to ruin your confidence? That none of you have a PhD title or up to a PhD title? So let's go for a very quick chat. What do you think about a PhD title? Anyone wants to share? What's a PhD title? The challenge that we always have with our supervisor, the PhD title, is not good for PhD. How can you identify, or how can you be a master to know whether a topic is a PhD topic or not? To yourself. I will give you 3 simple steps. My secret. Whoever come to me, I ask these 3 questions, or I will monitor these 3 information, and I will come out with conclusion whether your PhD title is good enough for PhD or not. But let's see. First, what is my definition of degree level, of master level, and of PhD level? Not my definition, the whole education system around the world. So, when you are talking about the degree level, you are talking about the ability of a person, same as a pharmacy. If you have a person who can read the list of the medicine and go to the shelf and give you that particular medicine correctly, you are talking about degree level. If the problem is very, very unknown and the solution is in the library, your topic is not PhD topic, it's a degree topic. You are talking about the degree level. So remember, if you have a problem that everyone knows, everyone talk about it, it's very well known. And at the same time, if you go and search, just use 2 or 3 keywords in Google Scholar and you see 100,000 articles over there, your topic is up to degree level. It's not a PhD. Then, when you are talking about the master level, oops, it's jumping, okay. When you are talking about the master level, we are talking about the situation that you reach to the mastery level. and you can identify a problem yourself. Means when a patient comes to you, you can check, identify the problem. This problem can be from industry or can be from elsewhere. But you no need to develop any medicine. Medicine is available. When you go to a clinic, what will happen? The doctor will check you. Am I right? The physician will check your body. Apparently, you have headache. Apparently, you have fever. So these are the medicine that I have to give to you. If you reach to that level that you identify a problem yourself as an expert, as a consultant, but the remedy, the medicine is available on the shelf, congratulations, your topic is up to master level. It's not a PhD. So now I can see how many of you are already confident of your topic. Many of the faces change. And if you reach to the point that you can identify the problem, but when you go to the shelf, there is no medicine over there, you are talking about a PhD topic. How should you say that there is no medicine? You have to go through the literatures. That's why for PhD, we are talking about literature review. Prabhu Jaya is not here. His standard is, if my student wants to do PhD, first thing he has to go, or she has to go and read 100 articles in a relevant field, and then come and show me the topic that he or she is talking about. There is no remedy. There is no solution. And when you start making the new medicine, that medicine is your PhD thesis. Now, how many of you have confidence that today your topic is PhD topic? Please raise your hand. 1, 2. Anyone else? 3, 4. Just 3 of you, just 4 of you. So I think I did my job. I already shed a light in somewhere that nobody really give you the reality. That many of your topic is not up to PhD. Don't deceive yourself. For the last 2.5 days, I sit here and listen to the many persons. Some proposal defense, some updates, and I observe that many of your topic are here, with all due respect. As a degree level, forget about to be master level, forget about to be PhD level. You are talking about unknown problem, and you want to come out with an, if you are talking about non-problem and you are talking about a non-medicine. So that's a degree level. If you want to know why, for example, real estate company cannot work in your country, why not go to another country and see? If you can show the supervisor that yes, there are some cases, let's say in China, in Malaysia, in Singapore, but my country is different from those countries. Culturally is different, economically is different, politically is different. Not just different, you have to come up with enough evidence to convince your supervisor, your panel. I want to, for example, study about the implementation of IT, let's say in kindergarten. So why not you just go to US and adopt it? Why you want to do it in your country? I want to do about the taxation in so-and-so. Why not you go to another country, similar economy, and adopt the articles? Show me the research gap that you cannot utilize those funding in your country. Then, repeating the same model of study again is a master level. If you want to replicate it, you have to add on. Then it will be your contribution. It will be the PhD level. So any question? Hopefully I won't be very harsh. Dr. Janaka, please signal me if I'm very harsh. Okay, any question? Yes. It's not finished yet. I have another more. Doesn't work. Okay. 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 The question is, when you are talking about this situation, maybe there is a scenario that I already identified the problem, and there is an existing solution, but I have another solution. Fair enough. You have to show me that your solution is substantially better than the existing one. Your proposed solution. When we are talking about the research gap, it doesn't mean you have to go to the area that there is nothing about that knowledge. We are talking about several factors in research gap. For example, inconsistency in results. If you have several studies, let's say I go to my president and ask him, okay, Prof. Frame, let's increase the salary of our lecturer 35%. The first question he's going to ask is, do you think salary can influence the satisfaction of the staff? Am I right? So I say yes. This study showed that the salary, the amount of salary has a significant relationship with satisfaction. But he will go to Google and search and tell me, no, there is another study showed that there is no relationship between the salary and satisfaction. And worse come to worse, maybe his secretary search and come up with the article that some fellow did some study and showed that there is a negative relationship between the salary and satisfaction. Then, if you were in a position of our president, are you going to increase the salary or not? When we are talking about the research gap, we are talking about inconsistency in the existing results. Someone said positive, someone said negative, someone said no relationship. Someone, as our friend mentioned, you are talking about shortcoming in methodology. You said, okay, there are several studies that they have done, but all of these studies suffer because of shortcoming in their methodology. And I want to change the method. From quantitative, I want to go for qualitative. Many studies has been conducted, but we really couldn't go to the root of the problem. This is my evidence that all of them go for quantitative. Now I want to go for qualitative approach and find some insight. And maybe we can solve this inconsistency in result. Then still you are talking about a research gap. Okay? Of course, when we are talking about the PhD topic, this is not one size fits all. You give me your topic, I'm willing to spend half day with you and see whether you have a PhD topic or you don't have PhD topic. When we are talking about a guideline, it is not really fit to any specific. Sometimes we have also the issue. Some of my colleagues said, for example, this study is up to PhD. Another colleague said, yes, it is up to PhD. That's why you, later on after our session, you give me your topic, then we can discuss specifically. That's why I talk you about the shortcoming in methodology. Okay, so you judge it yourself. Either you are in the degree level, either you are in a master level, or you are in doctorate level. You just go back home. Dr. Janaka will upload the slides later. This is somehow a guideline, and see whether you are talking about a degree level or a PhD level. So, any question? I have another 10 minutes or 15 minutes, Dr. Janaka, because we have started 15 minutes late. Okay, 15 minutes. So, any question before we go, or how to get started? Yes, yes.
When we talk about the solution, the solutions are there already in this equation, and we find kind of articles outside of the website are internet and print videos and okay, so on. But solutions which are there. And it needs to be online. If we say that the same topic, you find a lot of researchers have done their work in different ways. Right? For example, my topic has been in India in challenging market survival. Right? I come over a little bit and look at the researchers have lived it. But this bill I found after studying the literature that while so many digital studies fails in the response, both of them are not observed. So my question is, what is the label definition which is typical yesterday? So
okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your question. When I'm talking about there is no solution, sometimes you have a solution. Sometimes, for example, I'm working in the healthcare industry. Okay, it's a very famous case in India. In the healthcare industry, when you are talking about the eye problem, there are many cases that the people are going to be blind. Otherwise, they do a very simple operation. So there was a hospital in, I don't know which city in India, they took the concept of the production line to the operations room. What they have done, they come out with a production of the surgery. It's a solution. So as you mentioned, sometimes there is a solution, but that solution is in another industry. You can adapt it. You can bring it to another platform and test it and say, yes, if we do it. Exactly same as, for example, 30 years ago, when the people talk about aspirin, everyone talk about the headache, am I right? But nowadays, majority of the elderly people take aspirin for what? For the blood circulation. So there was some doctors, they took the same medicine, it was existing medicine, but nobody thought you can use it for another purpose and test it. That's a PhD. But if you want to use the aspirin as a cure for headache, which already tested in 170 countries in the world, and you said, no, in India is different, and I want to do it in India, then it's not a PhD. That's why I said, we have to be specifically go inside. I just give you the overall idea. That's why I have to say, for example, in your case, when you are talking about SMEs in India, whether the failure is because of lack of knowledge in approaches or the failure happened because of lack of, for example, very specific implementation. I have a PhD in marketing, but it doesn't mean I am a good marketer. I always make a joke. I said, if you want to make a company bankrupt, give it to some of my friends in business school. He or she can make it bankrupt within 2 weeks. Teaching, knowing is different from implementation. So if you can show the panel that yes, there are some existing solutions, but that solution for this reason didn't work, and I want to go and find a better implementation process by doing interview, by going digging deeper, then you are talking about PhD. But if I want to just 100 people go and distribute 250 questions, and I want to go and distribute 300 and call it PhD, that's not a PhD. I don't know about your methodology or whatsoever. I just talk about it randomly. Because when you smile, it shows there is some level of the approval over there. So let me just go very quickly about how should you write your chapter 1 or your proposal. More or less, when your supervisor asks you, okay, go and write something as a proposal, we are expecting to receive these kind of documents from you. Not 2 page, not 1 page, not half page. We want to know what you want to do, what do you plan to do. We want to have your full itinerary for your trip. So, when you start in your chapter 1.1 is your introduction. In your introduction, usually we expect for PhD level, you write about 500 to 700 words. This introduction, suppose you have to answer this question. What? What is the problem? I want to know in your introduction what is the problem. As well as I want to know why do you think that particular problem is important? Why do you think that SMEs should be internationalized in India? Why do you think, for example, I have to improve the employability of graduate in, let's say, China, Vietnam? Why I should answer or address, for example, fashion industry in Middle East? Why? Why do you think is important? Why should I improve the Islamic principle in management or logistics or whatsoever? Then you are talking about where. Where do you plan to conduct that particular study? A country, the industry, or if you have a huge company, if you are talking about Tata India, then maybe you want to go for case study. If you are talking about Proton Malaysia, if you are talking about Malaysian airline, within 4 years they have changed 4 CEOs and still they have lots of challenges. So you may even go for your PhD for one topic, one company. Then you are talking about who can get a benefit of your study. Later on you can see, in bracket I already put, when you are talking about what is the problem, later on in background of a study and problem statement, you have to extend it. When you are talking about why, you are talking about the problem statement, you have to focus and elaborate it. When you are talking about the where, you are talking about later on industry data in your background of a study. And when you are talking about who, you are talking about your contribution of the study. And later on, you are talking about how, methodology. I always have big argument for the introduction, 1.1, with all of my students. They always said, sir, when you ask all of these questions in introduction, what else I should write? You already asked all the questions that suppose I have to answer. Then, what should I write in the next step, in the next section? And I always use a simple example. Introduction is like giving a person a city tour from the air. You come to Malaysia, if you are willing to pay, we are willing to hire a helicopter for you. And I will give you the city tour from Kuala Lumpur from the sky. That is KLCC, that is Zoo Negara, that is Pavilion Shopping Mall, that is MUSD. But tomorrow, I will rent a car and I will bring you to each one of them. So over here, you are talking about overview. And then you will go to 1.2, which is background of a study, around 300 to 500 words. You are talking about country data, industry data. When you say there is a risk in SME's failure, show me the data. Compare India with other developing countries. Show me the rate of failure. If you just say, oh, they failed, whether it's significant or not. This morning, Prof. Zainal said, 2 out of 5 of my students, or 3 out of 5 students in qualitative pass. 60% passing rate is good enough for me. Maybe it's not good enough for you, but for industry it's good. So show me the data. And of course, share with me the most relevant literature that you have read regarding that topic. You have to read 100 articles. Give me the essence of 100 articles in 500 words. Then you know what does it mean of PhD. And you know why it happened to my hair, Dr. Rashid's hair, all gone. Because we already go through the doctorate process. So please spare some hair for your doctorate. And after that, we are talking about problem statement. What is the problem? Why do you think this problem is important? What is your industry? Education, healthcare, aviation industry? What industry are you talking about? SME? There are lots of sectors in SME. Maybe, for example, food sector SME did well, but let's say another part of SME didn't do well. Then, remember, make it bold, exaggerate it. Exaggerate it as much as possible. Make it in such a way that if you don't do this study and address this problem, the whole country collapses. The whole economy will collapse. The whole nation will face a problem. The drug abuse among the adolescents increased dramatically recently. And the people who are involved in drug activity are going to leave the schools. And if they leave the schools, they may go to some country and join the extremists, and they be a terrorist and come back to the country and bomb some places. And this is a national threat. To address that national threat as a consequences, we have to take care of the drug abuse adolescents now. That's a problem. Try to make your problem a statement bold. A little bit exaggeration is good. Then, what is your main objective? As Prof. Prim already yesterday gave to comment to some of our presenters. I need to see your main objective. I need to see your sub-objectives. I want to see your research questions. What question you intended to answer? If you are going for quantitative, What is your research hypothesis? Or maybe what are your propositions for your qualitative research? And after that, you are talking about significance of a study. You are talking about contribution to the body of knowledge. Here, you also should talk about research gap. Your contribution to the body of knowledge will happen if there is a significant research gap, if the current solution doesn't work as much as you want. We already have a system. The efficiency is 50%, but 50% is not good enough, because we already have breakthrough technology that can make it 70%. So when I go to a literature, there is no solution. I want to invent a new methodology, a new operation method. That can be a PhD. Your contribution to the body of knowledge. I want to change it from qualitative to quantitative, from quantitative to qualitative, extensively. It can be a PhD topic. And of course, later on, you are talking about the research methodology. How do you want to do it? Everything. Your approach. You want to go for qualitative, or you want to go for quantitative? Is there any difference from here and here? When you want to go for holiday, you plan. Am I right? You want to go for your dream trip, dream journey, the PhD journey, and you didn't plan anything, and every 3 months you come and see us and say, hi, how are you? How's it going? So for how long you want to do it? For another 6 years? For another 3 years? Please take another 3 months and plan. And next time when you plan, come with your proposal. Of course, along the way, you have to discuss with your supervisor. We need this information. Your approach, your population, your sampling frame, your sampling strategy, and so on. 9 important information that you will elaborate it further in your research method chapter. And of course, you are talking about operationalization of definitions. You have to explain what do you mean of whatever you say. When you say chair, what sort of chair you are talking about? When you're talking about the table, either you are talking about this table, you are talking about this table, or you are talking about pool table. I don't know. Your reader doesn't know. This is your responsibility as a researcher to say, when I'm talking about satisfaction in workplace, this is my definition. And I adapt it from this well-known researcher. You have to be very mindful. Otherwise, when you are talking about the car, you are talking about this type of car, I will ask question about this type of car. It will be a cause of lots of confusion, conflict between you and your supervisor, because you didn't define whatsoever that you have in your mind. I am not in your brain. I can just communicate with you based on your write-up. Maybe you can talk very well. Maybe you can be a very good speaker, but can you be a good writer? That's a two different thing. And for PhD, you have to be a good writer. If you need, go for different classes. Try to improve your writing. It will not happen in a day. It will happen day to day, day by day, day after another. You have to remember, you have to improve your communication skills, your presentation skills, your writing skills. It takes time. 10 years ago, even I couldn't speak 2 minutes in front of people, and now Dr. Janaka keep on watching his watch and want to kick me out from this room. Okay, I'm going soon, Dr. Janaka. And the last part, organization of your chapter, which is very simple. What is chapter 1 about? What is chapter 2 about? What is chapter 3 about? And very short summary. If you add on all of this figure that I put here, your research proposal should be something around 3,000 words. Divide by 200 words per page. means roughly it should be about 15 pages. Then you are talking about the real PhD proposal. The rest are fiction. Thank you. So I think we have time, but it's okay. Everyone knows my room. My room door is always open, and as long as you are here, as long as you want to come to my room, you're always welcome. Thank you so much.
If you feel very uneasy now, then you are in the right mindset. If you're not worried, then I'm worried. If you're depressed, then I'm not depressed. If you're not depressed, then I will be very worried. Yeah, PhD is quite an unusual, I would say, unusual journey. Usually, if you encounter something unusual, you will have some kind of anxiety. If you don't have the anxiety, that means you're not in the right you're not in the zone yet, I would say. If you're in the zone, you feel some level of anxiety. So if you're anxious, then I'm not anxious. So the next presenter will be our friend, Associate Professor Wang from Xi'an University. Please, again, I would like to remind you that because we are so global, we have people from all around the world, they come with strong accent. So don't worry about the accent, you can see the slide and try to figure out what they are trying to say. Okay? The other day I have one Chinese student presenting their MBA defense. Then our panel member is Iranian lecturer. I can understand 80% of what the Chinese is saying. They're saying in English. I can understand 90% of what the Iranian lecturer is saying. But they both don't understand each other at all. So our common language is the written word. So pay attention to whatever up there. Okay. So Prof. Wang.
Hello everyone, my name is Wang Shuangming. My supervisor is Dr. Mitchell. Today I would present my people. Factories influence Chinese postgraduate student study in Malaysia under the Belt and Road Initiative. Sorry. This is contents. 1. Introduction, literature review, several frameworks. Under the Belt and Road Initiative, China has sent many students abroad to participate the developed along the BRI countries. Since 2012, more than 15,000 people in China have studied in countries along the BRI, with 19 funded by government. This graphic number of study abroad and their own expense, sponsored by government. According to statistics, and as of April 2017, China has signed first 5 education bilateral and military cooperation agreement with countries along the BRI and signed mutual recognized agreement with 24 countries along the road. Malaysia is an important partner in BRI. The friendly exchange between China and Malaysia have a long history. The bilateral economic and trade exchange have been over 2,000 years. Malaysia is an important country on the ancient maritime scale route and is also the earliest country along the line of BRI. It is also one of the countries with the most abundant harvest of the BRI. Malaysia has become China's largest trade partner in Southeast Asia. In 2010, the bilateral trade volume reached $100 billion and the first breakthrough was achieved. The exchange and cooperation of education between China and Malaysia is only an important part of the concrete content of BRI, but also a fundamental force for the implementation of BRI. There are many studies on the students' choice of the education in the general science, and the selection of the students who expect to study abroad of postgraduate education is less discussed. There is a lot of discussion on the wide range destination, and there is very limited research on the special destination along BRI countries, especially in study of Chinese students study in Malaysia. Research objective: to investigate the factory influence on postgraduate Chinese students to choose Malaysia to study, to find out how the BRI influence on postgraduate Chinese students to study in Malaysia, to find out how the academic performance influence on postgraduate Chinese students to study in Malaysia, to examine the family factors influence on postgraduate Chinese students to study in Malaysia, to investigate China education system policy which make postgraduate Chinese students to study in Malaysia. Research question: what are the factors influence postgraduate Chinese students to choose Malaysia to study? How does BRI influence on postgraduate students to study in Malaysia? How does academic performance influence on postgraduate students to study in Malaysia? How does the family factory influence on postgraduate Chinese students to study in Malaysia? What are the Chinese education system issues which make postgraduate Chinese students to study in Malaysia? How do Chinese education system issues affect on postgraduate Chinese students to study in Malaysia? Theoretical. Push-pull factor influence international student destination choice, study student college choice, three model and the implication for place marker. Analyze of curricular student international model by 2D model, driving force factor and direction factor. A three-pass model of college choice. In this, students consider whether they want to go to university or not. That is, students think about whether or not they will go to university before they enter the university. Students at this stage do collection information about the university. Students evaluate the primary application skill selection in stage 2 and deciding on the final admission to school, and department whether they are attending. This is model of a college student characters, significant activity, student college value, student information gather activity. Choose side. Push-pull 0. The global pattern of international student follow may be explained by a combination of push and pull factors that encourage students to study overseas. Push factory operate within the source country and initiate a student's decision to undertake international study. Pull factory operate within a host country to make that country relatively attractive to international students. Some of these factors are inherent in source country, some in the host country, and other in students themselves. This is home country. Economic and culture, postgraduate education system, postgraduate education institution, student, personal and family factors, and other factors, host country. This PPT shows the relationship between the various factors in the push-pull 0. Park 2D model. Home. Deciding to study abroad. Selection, destination country. Driving force factory. Students outward mobile. Direction factories. The first D, the driving force. The driving force factor refers to the international mistake at home companies that initiate driver student outward mobile for foreign higher education. The second D, the direction factory, refers to the student's perception for imaging and expectation for foreign higher education, which may influence the direction decision on the destination country. Research model. China, B&R initiative, and other factories. Malaysia, B&R initiative, and other factories. Student, academical performance, family, push-pull. This is a research model that integrates the three models. The study only focuses on the first chance, that is the party within the dust box. An independent variable, academical performance, family factories. 2 come from here. 2, 3 come from here. 1, 2, 3 come from here. Independent variable. Dependent variable. B&R initiative. Academical performance. Family factory. Education system issue. How independent variables influence dependent variable. How the degree of relations on this study should be considered. That's all for this. Thank you.
All right, very good afternoon to a nice presenter and also to all. First of all, thank you for good organized presentation. Very good indeed. But in spite of the very good and strong points, just only stick to the special part. Would you go back to your model, please? Research model?
Yeah.
One more.
One more.
No, one more.
Oh.
Your research model.
Yeah.
Over here is
Yeah.
okay. All right. Would you please tell me, if it is as the research model,
Yeah.
what does it mean about the other factors? How you bring the other factors as the research model you prepared over here?
Sorry, my English is very slow. I beg your pardon.
No problem. I do it very simple.
Yeah.
Your research model,
Oh, yeah.
other factors.
Yeah.
Why?
The virus comes from this zero.
Comes from zero.
Dr. Wong. The first square, you mentioned China,
Yeah.
VNR initiative,
Yeah.
and other factors.
Yeah.
What are other factors?
I see. Other factory，看啊，other 是吧 ？other 在这。Yeah. Other factory.
So you mean that you have the factors, but you didn't mention it there, but it is there in your theoretical framework.
Yeah.
You explain about it in literature review. You explain about these factors in literature review.
Literature review.
Okay.
As
a matter of fact, when you go through the model,
yeah,
you should clear it out definitely, and everything should be clear over there. We cannot say that others. Yeah.
1, 2 come from here. 2, 3 come from here. 1, 2, 3 come from here.
Whenever you are writing factors, the
Yeah.
research model,
Yeah.
everything should be written there. You should not write other factors. The list of factors should be there.
Yeah. The other factories include
Okay, you mean you already
include this and this.
economic and cultural environment, postgraduate education system, postgraduate education institutions, they are your factors?
Yeah.
How could be the economy and the cultural uncontrollable environment dimension could have been independent?
Oh, let me think again.
I repeat again my question. How could be the economy, culture, postgraduate conditions, situations, and institutions to be considered as the independent? They are uncontrollable environments. Nobody can control them. Can you control the economy? Perfect. Therefore, how could be the uncontrollable environments considered as the independent variable over?
Oh, I see, I see. This is not my independent. This dependent is in the this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, okay. My 应该是 I see, I see, I see. Independent. B and R initiative. Academical performance. Family factory. Education system issue. Okay.
Push them, these factors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Push the students to study in Malaysia, right? Yeah, one slide back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is not independent.
Okay.
It is not me dependent. This is reason push. Reason. Okay. No independent. My dependent. This is my dependent.
You
Dependent.
just
Oh, yeah.
Next slide. This is the theoretical.
Intention.
You just skip to this slide. Don't go to other slide. Confuse people. Okay.
Over here. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Over here, you mean that family factors
Yeah.
is the independent variable?
Family factory, yes. Family factory is independent.
Okay. You say that family factors. How many factors in a family you consider?
Family factory include incoming, family incoming.
Income? Okay, income.
Income. Okay, income.
What else?
The father and the mother education level.
Okay, therefore, if the family factors considered as the independent variable,
Yeah.
and this factor consists of sub-independence, therefore, those factors as the income, education, lifestyle,
Yeah.
those are independent, not these. These are the category of them.
I see.
Okay? And then, if you put it as the independent variable, and they are as the category, how you will go through it and put it in your model?
Yeah. I understand. This independent is very very general. 应该把它那个具体。
It could not be very general.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is very simply rejected. If it is too general, it is simply rejected. Therefore, if you don't want simply rejected, go deeply inside. And you should be clear out. And if they are as the independent, it could not be as the moderating.
Yeah. I will change the independent very clear.
Very clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Go to your model, research model.
Research model. Sorry. I'm very anxious. Yeah.
Therefore, your research model is changed.
Why?
Your research model.
Oh, yeah. I see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I change
Alright.
this very clear.
No problem.
Yeah.
Therefore, you understand
Yeah,
that your research model is rejected.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
We are running out of time, so the next presenter. Who is the next presenter? Huan Ping. Oh, okay. Mr. Zhang. The next speaker, please get your file ready. The next speaker, next presenter. Spin, please get your file in the thumb drive.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. My topic is the relationship between corporate social responsibility and financial performance in China's listed companies. My name is Zhang Huanping. My supervisor is Shadi. The concept of CSR originated in the early 20th century, but it has been less than 20 years since the rise of CSR in China. The requirement of CSR in the international communities has changed from abilities to contract actions. CSR has become an inventive trait in the world. In 1924, American scholar Oliver Shelton proposed the concept of corporate social responsibilities. In his book, The Philosophy of Management, he believed that CSR should be associated with the concept of morality and that the goal of the corporate operations was to meet the needs of all stakeholders inside and outside the industries. Then the research on the concept of CSR has been evolving. This table is key development of CSR corporate. Howard Bowen is a father of CSR. The important series is three: concentrate control theory, pyramid structure theory, and triple or bottom line theory. This research sees CSR into price pyramid, compliance with laws, health openness, transparency, and moral integrity, responsibilities to the shareholders, the creditors, suppliers, employers, customers, governments, and communities. The current situation of CSR in China. At present, China does not obligate employers to fulfill their social responsibilities. Almost all the social responsibilities behaviors of enterprises are spontaneous. Because of the sense of social responsibilities, some business management take the initiative to fulfill their social responsibilities. Others think that fulfilling social responsibilities will bring economic benefits to the enterprises. This figure shows China published statistics on the number of CSR from 2006 to 2017. This data come from a white book of Chinese CSR reports. It's growing rapidly. This figure shows social responsibility development index of Chinese top 300 corporate. It's growing, but still at the infancy stage. Problems of CSR in China. Some problems have also been exposed, such as ambiguous concept, random content, inconsistent formats. Research problems. Exciting research in CSR is industry specific. No research has been compared across various major industries. No comparison was made on CSR in state-owned, local private-owned, and French private-owned companies. Most CSR findings in Western literature are not cable in China due to its unique form of socialism ideology. Research objective. To research what relationship between CSR and financial performance and different business ownership. To research what relationship between CSR and financial performance and the different business form. Research question. In my research, have seven questions. What's the relationship between the shareholders and the financial performance? The creditors and the financial performance, the employers and the financial performance, the suppliers and the financial performance, the government and the financial performance, the customers and the financial performance, and the communities and the financial performance. Lateral review. In this research, I will use three theories. Social contract theory, stakeholder theory, corporate social responsibility theory. This is the representative of the social corporate theory. This is a social corporate theory model. Employers boundary, stakeholders boundary. Government, communities, creditors, suppliers, involvement, contract boundary. This is the representative of stakeholder theory. Friedman, stakeholder theory includes investors, shareholders, creditors, employees, customers, suppliers, and other operating elements. This is stakeholders model. Corporate social responsibility theory. Colloquium in his book found that the whole corporate social responsibilities should include four aspects. This is his fund: economic, law, moral, credit. This is theoretical and independent variables. This is my theory. This is my independent variables. Okay. This is research framework. In my research, independent variables have 7: shareholders, creditors, employees, suppliers, customers, governments, communities. This is multiple variables: company ownership, company form. This is dependent variables: financial data sources. The data of this research come from the financial report of China listed companies. For example, Xinlang, Hexu, QQ, East Money, iPhone. They are the famous websites in China. I will use factor analysis in this research. For example, what's the relationship between shareholders and financial performance? Is positive correlation, negative correlation, or irrelevant? Okay. This is measurement of value tables. Okay, I want to say this. I have a piece of paper. Okay, thanks for.
Hi, good afternoon again. Sorry that all the time I just only ask some questions. Again, would you please go back to your research model. Forget about everything. Just only go back to the research model. Your research model.
Research model. Okay.
As a matter of fact, again, that's the normal question that we have it. For the independent variables that you selected, it should be definitely specific and concise. When you say about the employees, creditors, stockholders, suppliers, customers, what does it mean? We cannot go through them as the general concept. You should specify what specification, which criteria, which dimension, you go through it and you check it. These are as the whole component. They could not be considered as, for example, as you say that government, how could be as the independent? Totally cannot be go through it, and which kind of factors that considered to be as the independent regarding to that one. I do not sure that it is appropriate for this kind. You should talk with your supervisor, I think, and definitely she will guide you to change and consider the independent variable. On the other hand, when you go through the moderating variables, if you put these variables in the main line, it considered as mediating, not moderating. Moderating variables facilitate, could be in or out, no problem. But when you put it as the direct line, it could be, it should be, it means it should has in the model and cannot be considered as the moderator. It is as the mediator. Totally wrong. Sorry to tell that. It is totally should be considered from the beginning till the end. And then for the next slide, please go for the next slide. For the reference, forget about it, because all of them considered for your model, and when your model is modified, all of them will be changed. And just only be aware of the students for the PhDs, never forever, you cannot put it as the correlation. Correlation as the pre-dimensions that you should check it. You go through the relation, not correlation. Correlation is not over here. The concept, I don't want to go to the statistics, but I think that maybe as the right spelling, sorry. But the other one, next slide, please. Next slide. Oh, sorry, before that, go to the reference. Yeah, for this reference. Definitely, for references, you cannot say google.com. Google.com is not reference. financeqq.com is not a reference.
Yes.
You should give the direct page. Finish with the exact page that you go through it. .com, .my, .china are not the reference. And even for the source you mentioned, you cannot give me the www.google.com. Okay? Then you should go deeply for the references as well. Thank you.
I want to say this is China's famous website. The report, the financial report comes from here. Thank you.
Any other comment? We can allow one more. Otherwise, you go for the next one. Ms. Lee. The next speaker, please get your file ready. So, have you got a culture shock with the Chinese accent? Can understand? Vietnamese can understand Chinese English? Can they should be able to understand Vietnamese English as well, right? Okay. Your file ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Li Junjia. My supervisor, Dr. Janaka. Today, my title is the research on the influence of sports and tourism industry in integration to tourism structure in Xi'an. Background. The development of information technology. Since the 21st century, because of the development of information, industry integration have been improved, especially the use of new technology and new products are more common in the tourism industry and the sports industry, which has accelerated the integration of the two industries. Changes in consumer demand. The former tourists spend more time on sightseeing tours, and they do not pay much attention to the feelings during the tour. With the change of tourism experience, enterprises should provide more new tourism products. The participation of sports coincides with this requirement. This has also promoted to the integration of the tourism industry and the sports industry. The promotion of national policy. The government promotes the rapid industry integration of the tourism and the sports. So tourism industry structure have changed. What is the industry structure? The tourism industry structure refers to various tourism sectors and the relationship between these sectors. If the tourism industry structure is reasonable, tourism industry economy can healthily develop. The tourism industry includes eat, live, travel, shopping, and entertainment. It is open sector. Problem statement. The theoretical research on the integration of sports industry and the tourism industry is still developing gradually. Most of the research is limited to the qualitative level. The quantitative study is not enough in the development of the two industries integration, and the influence factors are not comprehensive enough. This research will also reveal integration degree, how to influence industrial structure. Research objectives. In order to increase tourism income in Xi'an and improve Xi'an tourism industry, we have to promote the industry integration of sports and tourism. This research has several specific objects. The identify major components of sports and tourism industry integration to determine relationships between the components, to identify the degree of integration to industry, to build a model of sports and tourism industry integration. Research question: in order to achieve the above object, the following research questions are formulated. What is the situation of tourism sectors in Xi'an? What is the relationship among these sectors? How the environmental factors affect the relationship among sectors? What is the degree of the integration of the industry elements? How to influence the industrial structure? Theoretical basis. One is experience economy. The term in experience economy was first used in 1998. Pan and Gelmo argue that business must orchestrate memorable events for their customers, and that memory itself becomes the product, the experience. So based on experience economy theory, this research will explore how the change of the consumer demand influence tourism industry structure. Second is synergetics. Synergetics is an interdisciplinary science explaining the formation and self-organization of patterns and the structures in open system far from dynamic. It is founded by Haken, inspired by the laser theory. Based on synergetics, this research reveals the evolution law of tourism industry structure under the effect of industrial integration. Third is industrial structure theory, an explanation of the operations and relationships within a given industrial sectors. Reasonable tourism industrial structure will affect the healthy development of tourism economy. Therefore, based on industrial structure theory, I will research if tourism industry structure is reasonable or not. Literature review. Literature review divided three aspects. One is research on basic theory. Two is the motivation of the integration of tourism industry. Three, model of integration. My research focus on the motivation of the integration of tourism industry. This is my research framework. I will research in degree of industry integration, how to influence tourism industry structure. I will measure degree industry integration from four aspects. Methodology methodology. Main methodology is a synergetical dynamic model. My data source 西安 Economic Yearbook, China Tourism Status Book, Yearbook. This statistic data will be collected. This data from government, come from government public. That's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very glad to have the chance to report my research, and I hope you give me some good advice. My name is Shi Bin. I come from China. My supervisor is Dr. Jalaka. My topic is factors influencing rural tourists' behavioral orientation in Xi'an City. I will report my topic from three aspects: introduction, literature review, and methodology. Background. Tourist behavioral orientation is the tendency of tourists to take tourism actions. Behavioral orientation is the best variable to predict behavior. The stronger the individual's orientation for a particular behavior, indicating that he is more likely to perform the behavior. China's rural tourism originated in the 1980s. It has made remarkable achievements after 30 years development. Over the past 5 years, the average annual growth rate of rural tourists and business income has reached 23% and 39% respectively. In 2017, rural tourists reached 24 billion, accounting for 50% of domestic tourists received in China. Problem statement. Rural tourism uniqueness. Rural tourism is a special form of tourism in China, which has different characteristics from other tourism. Most rural tourists come from the big cities near the rural tourism destination, and self-driving is the main way of their travel. Special emotion on the countryside is an important factor that affects rural tourists visiting. Countryside is also a favorite destination for nostalgic tourists. Theoretical limitations. Most previous research on tourist behavior imitation is based on the theory of planned behavior or the theory of customer value. Both theories only from the perspective of rational factors, while ignoring the emotional factors on the behavioral imitation. But rural tourism is different from other tourism. In particular, emotion factors play an important role in the formation of rural tourist behavior imitation. These two theories could not sufficiently explain the rural tourist behavioral imitation. Research objectives. To reveal the factors influencing rural tourist behavior imitation. To examine the rational factors' influence on rural tourist behavioral imitation. To verify the emotional factors' influence on rural tourist behavioral imitation. To exploit the formation process of rural tourist behavior imitation. Research questions. What are the factors influencing rural tourists' behavior imitation? How does the rational factors influence on rural tourists' behavioral imitation? How does the emotional factors influence on rural tourists' behavioral imitation? What is the process in which the rural tourist behavioral imitation is formed? Literature review. Theoretical basis. The theory of planned behavior. The theory of planned behavior is theory about human behavior which proposed by Einstein in 1985. In this theory, behavior is determined by behavioral imitation, and the behavioral imitation is determined by attitude, subjective notes, and perceived behavioral control. The theory of customer value. Customer value can be conceptualized as a comparison of weighted get attributes to gap attributes, which represent a relation or trade-off between total benefits received to total sacrifices. The theory of place attachment. Place attachment is a positive affective bond between an individual and a specific place, the main characteristic of which is the tendency of the individual to maintain close links to such a place. Place attachment have two components, place dependence and place identity. Place dependence reflects functional attachment. Place identity reflects affective attachment. A tourist behavioral imitation. Many researchers studied behavioral imitation based on the theory of planned behavior. They found that the theory of planned behavior is an effective theory to explain tourist behavior imitation. But how attitude, subjective know, and perceived behavior control influence behavioral imitation? They have different conclusions. Most research indicating that attitude is the most important variables influence behavioral imitation. It is not only an independent variable, but also as a mediating variable between subjective know, perceived behavior control, and behavioral imitation. But some research indicate that attitude, subjective know, and perceived control affect behavioral imitation separately. In order to enhance the explanation of theory of the theory of planned behavior intention under the tourism condition. Some researchers added other variables into their theory. Destination emerged is widely be verified, and they find the explanation of the theory of planned behavior is more effective when indeed the destination emerged into the theory. Some research use the theory of customer value. They found that tourist perceived value is also an important variable. Based on 3 theories and the literature review, I proposed my theoretical framework. There are 6 independent variables and 1 mediating variables in my framework. Among these variables, mediating variable and the first 2 variables I from TPP. The third independent variable I from TCV. The fourth I from literature. The last 2 I from TPA. The first 4 belongs to rational factors. The last 2 belongs to emotional factors. Measurement. A questionnaire survey will be used for this study. The target participants are rural tourists in Xi'an City. All constructs in this study will be measured with multiple authors. A preliminary list of marine authors is generated after an extensive review of the literature. All authors will be assessed on a 5-point Richter scale ranging from 1 equals strongly disagree to 5 equals strongly agree. Attitude is measured with 4 items. Subject know is measured with 4 items. Perceived behavioral control is measured with 4 items. Tourist perceived value is measured with 6 items. Place dependence is measured with 4 items. Place identity is measured with 4 items. Behavioral intention is measured with 6 items. Data collection. An on-site intercept survey will be conducted at Shangwang Valley, Bailu Valley, Yuanjia Valley, and Mavi Valley, which represented the majority of the rural tourism destination in Xi'an. About 500 self-administered questionnaires will be distributed only to those who agree to respond to the survey. Analysis. Structural equation modeling will be run using STS and MOS. In this study, the 2-stage testing procedure will be adopted. First stage, confirmatory factor analysis will estimate the measurement model for these variables. The second stage, hypothetical relationship among the constructs will be identified in the structure model. That's all. Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Because I changed my topic, so this time my report only 2 chapters. I think Vietnamese and Chinese are closer together, so maybe our English is similar together. So try kindly to understand. My topic is the mediating effects of medical staff engagement and organizational citizen behaviors towards hospital reforms. My supervisor is a problem. I will tell you why I do this research. The background is because in our competitive world, if we want to survive, every industry has to concern about the change. And the health sector, especially hospital, is not exception. In the process of innovation, the human factor plays a key role. It decides the success of any process. Many studies have shown the management role of hospital leaders and the patient's safety to help the hospital success in change. But not many researchers assess the impact of employee engagement and organizational citizenship on the relationship towards the hospital change, even in Vietnam. One more reason. In Vietnam, since the onset of the reform in the late of 1980s, we only have public hospital, no private hospital. But nowadays, 60% of outpatient services have become an important component in the national health system. However, although the patients in private hospital increase, but the research about that still very, very little. And especially the difference between the private hospital and the public hospital is still a big question. From that background, we find some gap. The first one is under a relationship between leader behaviors and patient safety towards a hospital change, but there is very little research using mediating analysis to determine the causal role of this relationship in terms of medical staff engagement and organizational citizenship. The second one, when we examine the causal, we show that we find that the cost of modern technical equipment or training person is very high. While encouraging employee engagement and create a supportive environment among staff is less expensive but high effective in innovative. And the difference, as we in the background we mentioned before, the difference in terms of the innovation, staff engagement, and organizational citizenship between public and hospital and private hospital has still not assessed in Vietnam. From this gap, we want to we conducted the research with the primary purpose is the explore the medical staff engagement and organizational citizenship could affect the link from change leader behaviors and patient safety towards the change of hospital service. And The study also want to investigate the effect of private and state sector on medical staff behaviors in terms of engaged and voluntary contribution. From that problem, we have the objective of research. The main objective of this research is to assess the mediating effect of medical staff engagement and organizational citizenship from change leader behavior and patient safety towards hospital reform. At the same time, it also aims to investigate the moderating effects of the service sector. Service sector means public and private sector in terms of medical staff engagement and patient safety culture. From that main objective, research achieved the following specific objectives. The first one is to measure the level of hospital reform. The second one is to identify the factors that contribute towards the hospital reform. And the third one is to evaluate the relationship of medical staff engagement and organizational citizenship towards the hospital reform. The fourth objective is to model the role of medical staff engagement towards the hospital reform, then to set up modeling the impact of organizational citizen towards hospital reform. And the last one is to gauge the influences of private and public sector towards the medical staff engagement and organizational citizenship. From that objective, we have, from 6 objectives, we have 6 research questions aligning. The first one is, what is the level of hospital reform? The second one is, what are the factors that contribute towards the hospital reform? And then, what are the relationship of medical staff engagement and organizational citizenship towards a hospital reform? And the fourth and the fifth, the 5 questions is about the mediating effects of medical staff engagement and organizational citizenship towards a hospital reform. And the last one is what are the influences of private and public sector towards the medical staff engagement and organizational citizenship. We have a scope of study. The study will be quantitative research and conducted in 2 biggest hospitals in Rajah City. Rajah City is a southwestern city of Vietnam. And we planned to define the proposal in June. So after that, we begin to collect the data. The research population is 1,846 physicians and nurses without any management post in 2 of our hospitals. A sample of 500 respondents will be selected by stratify the sampling type. And a questionnaire survey will be conducted together the primary data. Why we conducted this research and how is it important? We find some specific significance for the research. The first one is provide more local data to the academic and contribute to the existing literature towards hospital reform. The second one is use the tools of the researcher to create the intervention program within the hospital. The third one is the features that we find out in research will help private and public hospital to apply to their service to enhance their service quality. And last but not least, from the finding of the study, the government could make appropriate policy and program to improve the healthcare quality across the country. The limitation of the research. First of all, the study will exclude the people who are not working in the two above hospitals. And if they are working in two this hospital, they are not medical staff. And who are in hospital director board, or in lab managers or director board will be excluded from the research. And the research just focus on observational leadership behavior, not other features. Here, I move to literature review. Here's some theory. We will, based on that, to generate the dimension for the research. We have the change theory. Some change theory we will apply to research, and based on that to generate the dimension, and from that to adapt question from these theories about change leader behaviors, about patient safety and care. We have also the theory for employment engagement of organizational citizen behavior. From these literatures, we created the old framework for the research. The independent variables of the research, is IV moderator, mediator, and dependent variables as in the table. And from that table, we have the hypothesis about the significant, there is a significant relationship between change leader behaviors and the patient safety toward to hospital reform, or from the medical staff engagement or organizational citizen towards hospital reform. And then the hypothesis for the mediating effects of medical staff engagement and organizational citizen. Finally, is a hypothesis for the moderating effects between private and public health, public hospital. There's a reference for the slides. Thank you very much for your listening. And today is Women's Day. So I wish all ladies in this room have a beautiful day, as beautiful as you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wen, for sharing your progress of your report of your research. One question is, how do you measure the reform So how do you measure whether the hospital has been reformed or not?
Based on change of theory, yeah, we have the question, some items, 10 items for the hospital reform dimension.
Okay, how many hospitals do you intend to survey?
2 hospitals.
Okay, let's say inside one hospital.
One hospital is a private hospital, and another one is the public.
Okay, let's say in the hospital, some respondents say it has been successfully reformed. Some other respondents in the same hospital say that the hospital is not reformed. So which one is you will take?
That's the reason why I want to take the research, to conduct the research. You know, because from the data, from after we analyze, we can see who is the group to say the hospital is not successful in change, and which group will be said that the hospital is successful in change.
So that measurement is actually perceived reform. It's not the objective measurement of the reform.
Yeah, perceived. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a bit problematic.
Maybe I will write the perceived hospital reform.
Yeah, I always have a problem with that when a researcher or a student trying to measure the degree of success or performance, or in your case, reform. It's all perception. So you cannot tell for sure whether the hospital has been successfully reformed. So
now I cannot.
Yeah. So what your research, the outcome of your research can only tell you what the people think about the extent or the success of reform, not the actual success of reform.
Yeah, that's a perception. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's the only question I have. Any other question? Luther?
Yes.
So late. Oh yeah. 1.9.
No. Oh, sorry. Just 1.8. That's my last.
What you will write in delimitation? What you will write in delimitation?
Delimitation is
what you will explain in delimitation? What you want to explain? I want to know in delimitation what she wants to explain.
I understand that you want to ask me why I write a delimitation.
What do you want to explain?
Yes, as you say, the delimitation as a part, we give a reader about which feature we don't, it's not in our research. Although it relates to the concept, but it's not in my research.
You have written only for excluding people, but who will be included? The study will exclude people, but who are included?
What's included? Yeah, in the scope of the study, I give the included people. You see, that's the research population. The physician and nurses without any management process in about hospital.
Please show me the slide before delimitation. Slide before delimitation. That is 1.8. 1.7, yeah. Limitation, yeah.
Limitation. because you see this the survey, so the self-reported, maybe we have some bias. I just show some bias related to the survey. And this is a cross-sectional study. Cross-sectional study just collect data at the same point of time. So it has the some limitation also. That's my limitation.
Okay, thank you.
Before, do you have any comment or suggestion? No? Okay, we allow last one more question. Yes.
First of all, I wish today is the Women's Day. I wish you all the best.
Thank
yes,
you.
I'm so admire you. Your English is very good and you're very confident to present. And secondly, I would like to know your theoretical framework. Yeah, theoretical framework. You focus on the hospital reform, and I wonder that how you measure about the hospital reform. How you measure about that? Like observation? Yeah.
Yes, that's the same question with Dr. Janaka before. Yeah, that's a perceived hospital reform. Yeah. So I give that's in that part. I have 10. I plan to have 10 items for that part to ask about the concept of hospital reform, perception of concept of hospital reform. Because I just finished the 2 chapters. If I have more time, I will show you the questionnaires. Yes, next time, and maybe in my defense proposal defense.
Yes, thank you. But I wonder that can you tell me in the general of observation for the hospital reform? Yeah, you know that is very important because that is the outcome of your study.
Yes, because that's a perception. So I will ask physician or nurse about what do you think about the hospital reform? For example, do you think your hospital is successful in reform process? For example, something like that.
A form of hospital, like employees, they are satisfied about that, or the profits of hospital, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you. So, do you have? Thank you very much.
So let me see what we have. Okay, that's the end of today's session. Tomorrow we have update by Francis. Wait, Francis, are you here? No. So at 9:30, then we have an industry talk by Clement Aru, who will be talking on the cyber security. So the technicality of cyber security. Then we have update by Ying Xiaohui. That's my student. I'm not wearing my glasses, that's a problem. Then we have Ma Jianyang. Ma Jianyang will be presenting tomorrow, followed by Ma Xuanming. So that will be tomorrow. Okay. After that, we will let you talk to your supervisor because there's only a few remaining hours for you to talk to your supervisors. Okay, so I see you tomorrow 9:30. Please be on time. Okay, it's 9:30. It's not 10 o'clock. So go have some nice dinner with your supervisor. Okay.
One day, next day, you can get like, and then you can have a I say a lot of that.